Good morning. Okay. So, currently po, no, we are receiving already questions in the link provided po, no? But initially, we listed down some of the generic questions that we've got prior the orientation. So, we'll go through this one by one. Okay, so let's start with the first Q&A. Number one question po natin. How to determine and choose between the two classroom observation for teachers? Ayan. Sige po. This is our response to this question. First consideration ay the scheduling options for classroom observation shall be agreed upon by the teacher and the rater or the observer. Okay, the second one is that yan. Determining which among option is feasible shall be the discretion of the teacher and the observer, taking into account factors such as class schedule, number of teachers to be observed, and other relevant considerations. So meaning, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Considering lang po no, yung mga factors that may affect po yung inyo pong scheduled classroom observation. Kasi naman, kung malaking eskwelahan po, yung frequency, no, pwede po yun, ay consideration din po yun. Tapos, depende po sa number of mag-observe din. Tapos, isang consideration din po ninyo is that, as you take note po, no, sa option 2, since 8 po yun, medyo maganda po siya kasi apat-apat lang po kailangan niyo pong ma-hit na indicators in that classroom observation. Pero sa iba din po, ang gusto po nila, sige, isang classroom observation na lang. However, kindly take note na yung one full period po, or one entire session, class period, kailangan niyo pong ma-hit yung 8 indicators. So medyo it will require rigorous lesson planning. And at the same time din po ay consideration also with your class schedule. Kung may 40 minutes ka lang or 60 minutes, yun po yung kailangan pong pag-isipan. Ano po? So that's question number 1. Now, let's move to question number 2. Ito yung mga frequently asked. Given that there are options 1 and 2 for the classroom observation, what will happen if the teacher does not meet the required COI? Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, halimbawa, 8 po yung ano po ninyo. So, ganito po ang mangyayari. Ayan. So, I think nabanggit po ito ni Liz kanina kung nakikinig po tayo. So, teacher rating, halimbawa, 8 po. Option 1, option 2 po ang pinili niya. 8 indicator. So, for example, yung lowest rating in the classroom observation is 3. While the lowest rating would mean not observe or not met indicators in the classroom. Kung hindi niya po ma-meet yung 8, he or she will get 3 sa observation na yun, and for highly proficient, 4. So, she will get na po sa efficiency. Tama ba, Luis? Sa efficiency? Yes. Sa efficiency. Pero the quality naman, okay. Sorry, quality and efficiency. Both po. So, 3, you will get lowest score. Yun lang yung something you need to look for if you decide to go for option 2. But again, you have option 1 and 2. So, you just need to weigh things. And yun nga po, kailangan nyo lang ng intensive planning or rigorous planning how to do on your lesson. Kung ano po yung ipapa-observe nyo pong klase. Okay? The effectivity of guidelines starting 4th quarter. Ito, may nare-receive na rin po kami sa link, no, na ganito yung mga tanong. Can a teacher show MOV? Halimbawa, minutes of consultative meeting with stakeholders conducted in the previous quarter. Maganda pong tanong ito. Let's categorize. No? For classroom observable indicators, classroom observation shall be conducted in the 4th quarter. So, kung meron po kayong classroom observation na ginawa ng 3rd quarter or ng 2nd quarter, hindi po ninyo yun magagamit for the PMES. Okay? So, meaning, magpapa-observe lang po kayo starting next week for purposes of performance. Pero kung in-observe po kayo previously, iba po yung purpose na siniserve po ng observation na yun, not for PMES. Clear? Pero, kung for the NCOIs, yung mga non-classroom observable, any MOVs produced prior the issuance of this DM17 can be used as long as relevant po yung MOVs, acceptable, and valid. Okay po? So, to answer the question, for COIs, gagamitin lang po, mag-start lang po siya, at ang valid lang po na gamitin as MOV ay ang classroom observation done after next week. Okay? And for NCOIs, any of the MOVs across the 4 quarters. So, simula even quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or quarter 4. Accept po natin yan as long as, again, relevant, valid, and accepted within the MOVs provided po as I discussed earlier. Okay? Clear po yun? Clear. Next. What are the acceptable MOVs for teachers who transferred from one school to another? Halimbawa, mid-year, no? Who validates their MOVs? Marami po kasing ganitong situation. Halimbawa, si Teacher A galing sa Pulang Lupa National High School. Tapos lumipat po siya ng mga September to halimbawa Cavite National High School due to family reason or etc. So, paano po iyon? Okay, so again, the acceptable MOVs are contained in figure 7 and 8 of DM17. So you need to be familiar, you need to familiarize yourselves for that MOVs, which I discussed din naman po kanina. So the assigned rater of the current school, meaning yung accepting, no, yung in my example is Cavite National High School. Galing siya sa Pulang Lupa, let's say. The assigned rater of that current school shall validate the MOVs presented for purposes of evaluation. So, i-accept niya. I-accept ni rater sa Cavite National High School yung mga dalang MOVs ni teacher even from Pulang Lupa National High School. And then, approval signatures from the previous rater shall not be required. So, especially for NCOIs ito. Kasi yung COIs, yun, mag-start pa lang naman siya next week. So, by the time, nakalipat na po siya, no? So, nasa Cavite National High School siya. So, this question pertains to NCOIs, MOPs. Tama, Miss Liz? Okay, so para klaro tayo doon. Pero yung COIs, definitely, kung nasa na siyang school. Okay? Sige po. Next. Yan. Should we submit physical or digital copies of MOVs? Are there specific formats we should follow? Again, submission of portfolio is not and shall not be required. Ipipresent po ni teacher kay rater, doon siya magre-rate. Kasi since may repository na si teacher na kanya po, no? So, kailangan niya pong i-present. So, available MOVs shall be presented. And then, ibabalik na rin po agad ni rater once ma-ratean niya po. So, meaning, the question is, yes, you may present both or either physical or digital documents depending on your region and how you would like your repository to be. Kung ang mas ano po kayo, gusto niyo nasa Google Drive kasi ayaw niyo na ng mga folder kasi just in case may mabasa, magkaroon ng wag naman ng circumstances beyond your control. Ayan. At least kung digital copy, you have, pwedeng nasa cloud, pwedeng nasa Google Drive, and so on and so forth. So, yun po ang inyong option. Physical or digital, but then again, portfolio shall not be required. Okay? They should present to the rater come rating period. Okay, next. Ayan. So, I have newly hired teacher assigned in school just this January 2025. Shall be they required to submit IPCRF for this school year? The answer is yes. According to CSCMC 6, personnel who have already met the required minimum rating period of 90 days in their current position shall be required to accomplish and submit IPCRF. And just in time, kasi next week pa naman mag-start yung COI. So, obligado rin po talaga siya. Paano misas yung mga, parating pa lang next week? Mga question na gano'n. Kung hindi niya po na-meet yung 90 days, then, hindi po siya required to submit IPCR.